Okay, fine. And we are back at the island. This is your girl, your favorite Capricorn, Vanita.
Cheryl T is here.
And this is BJ.
What's up, y'all? We're back. How's it going?
It's going well. What's up with you with your blue lipstick and blue shirt? What's that represent?
The Golden State Warriors just went to the next level last night.
They almost gave us a heart attack last night.
I'm so excited. I hate to say this, but I don't want to say it in a mean way, but John Morant was not in there, and that's okay.
Whatever. At least he's not a Ben Simmons. He really is injured.
or James Harden, or let's not go there. Let's not go there.
Yeah, we got Ben Simmons and James Harden. They on NBA Affleck. They just kind of getting paid just to sit on the bench. They getting paid.
You're right. You're right.
Let's say that they getting paid nothing.
You're right. But we're not gonna waste time on sports today, because guess what, y'all? We have a very, very, very special guest today. I am very, very excited. So, ladies, it's that time of the year with the Tony nominations just being announced. It would only be fitting to have our special guest here today. He is a native of San Antonio, where his parents still reside, and which is where we are broadcasting from. He graduated from the Performing Arts High School, Northeast School of the Arts here in San Antonio. He is also a graduate of Otterbein, I'm probably saying it right, Otterbein University, and he'll clear that up, where he graduated with a BFA in musical theater. He is now living in sunny California and Los Angeles, and is currently a student at the Berg Studios, perfecting his craft in television and film. His bio is impressive and extensive, y'all. But here are just a few honorable mentions. He starred as a leading man, Bobby Strong, in the off-Broadway production of Urinetown, the musical. Now, I don't know if I'm saying it right or what, because okay, I hope I am. Okay. And then he was Donkey in the international tour of Shrek the Musical. Love me some Donkey. And he was the front man, Dennis Edwards, who we know from The Temptations, and the second national Broadway tour of Motown the Musical. Now, here's a play that I actually saw, but he wasn't in it. He was too young. Wailing Joe in Memphis the Musical at Theater Under the Stars. And I love that one. Also part of the 2014 acting company of the Tony Award-winning Utah Shakespeare Festival. Our guest is quick to say he is not able to do this without the grace of the Almighty God, the love of his family, and the support of his manager. And we know you all need a good manager when you're out there, a manager when you're out there in LA. So he lives by Proverbs 3:5-6. Trust in the Lord with all your heart. Do not depend on your own understanding. Seek his will in all you do, and he will show you which path to take. Ladies, it is with great pleasure that we welcome to the island, Mr. Jared Howelton.
Hello,
Welcome,
hello. Hi, thank you for inviting me to the island.
Oh, of course, come anytime. We are so glad to have you. We are excited that you took time out of your busy schedule to hang out at the island. I'm so nervous and excited. Hang out at the island with us.
Hey, it's great to be here. It's great to be here.
3 Golden Girl chicks. That's who we are.
Yes, we are.
Speak for yourself. I ain't in them golden years just yet.
Okay, well, the hair could have fooled me. Oops, did I go there? Jared, don't be shocked by anything we say. We're real.
Yes.
All right, sounds good. Let's get real then.
Let's get real. Okay, so I'm going to start us off. What does it mean to be an artist?
What does it mean to be an artist? So I'll start off with this. Everyone is an artist.
Okay.
We are all created in the image of Yahweh and the Almighty God, and he is creative. Therefore, we are creative. However, I think and I believe that God distributes levels of creativity in different people, and what's kind of setting aside maybe, everyone else from maybe the professional creator is they're able to tap inside that creativeness, a little bit quicker than the average person. So just like everybody can't be the smartest person in the room, everybody can't sing like Whitney, everybody can't dance like Michael, everybody can't play like Michael Jordan. just like artists, there's different, there's levels of creativity in different people. And so what does it mean to be an artist? Everyone's an artist. Kitchen Island Tea, this podcast, it's art. You're reaching out to so many people over 50 states, over people outside the United States. What you're doing right now is an art. So everyone's an artist. And that's the answer for that one.
I can't wait to go out and tell everybody I'm an artist.
Yes, we're
You are.
included in it.
I know I can do my painting with a twist, but that's about it when it comes to art for me.
She's not
Art is in
joking.
yourself. Love yourself. So
Okay.
yeah.
True. I love it. I love it. So if I wanted to enter the entertainment industry, where would I start? What would you say to a young person?
Right. So yeah, I would say the younger you are, you need to try everything. And then also and then if you're a little bit older, that's okay too. Pinpoint specifically what you want to do. So whatever city you're in, if you're interested in, dance, if you're interested in acting or, art, find that local dance studio in your city. Find that local community theater. Or if there's an acting studio in your city nearby, find that top-notch studio that's near you. Also, one of the things I like to do as well is when you go to the movies, especially those Marvel films, you sit through the credits. There's like 10,000 people that work on one Marvel movie. And if you just sit through those credits, just look at what interests you. It's like, I wonder how the lighting is done, or I wonder who does, oh, hello there. I wonder what makes, the cars go, who does the stunt driving. There's so many different jobs in this industry. So it's just a matter of, researching, finding out what interests you most. But if you're young, try everything. Get in an acting class, take a dancing class, get behind in the crew with lighting and design and costumes and wigs. The more you get involved and immerse yourself in everything, especially when you find a community, I think that's the most important as well, is finding that community that will inspire you to keep going in whatever direction you want to in the industry. So.
It's funny you should say that, because I've been looking up courses, podcast courses to take so that I can better produce what we're doing.
Okay, yeah.
So I like that you said that, because I feel like now I'm really on the right track coming from you, a young person.
And you're definitely on the right track. You're continuing to get better with your podcast. I mean, I'm in class. I'm still in class. So I'm always trying to get better. LeBron James is always trying to get better. I bet he's in the gym right now on the off season, getting ready for next season.
While he's crying, Jared, while he's crying.
While he's crying. I will admit it is kind of exciting to not have him in the playoffs this year. But yeah, I think just be like, the older you are, I think you need to be a little bit more specific, finding what do you want? There's so many different things with casting, being a talent agent, a manager. We need more people of color, and not just behind the screens and on stage, but behind the scenes as well. So I think it's just finding that place in your whatever's closest to you in your local city of those things that offer those things, and get involved.
Yes.
I'm glad you said that, because it really is important for our young people to know other professions that are in the key or main profession of theater or music. There's so many people behind the scenes doing so many things, and you brought it out. So I'm going to tell a lot of teenagers to listen to this podcast and listen to you, Jared, because I just think that's the most important thing. Learn about all the jobs that are there, and then just go after everyone that you think you might be interested in. Just try it.
Yeah, and it's up to our institutions and people in the industry to reach out to those areas as well. So they're going to do their part, and I'll make sure that they do their part to reach out to areas, because not everybody knows about, besides acting. It's like, oh, I didn't know I could cut hair for actors. You can be a barber and cut hair for Hamilton. You can be a barber on set for Black Panther, cutting the actor's hair. There's more people of color that are being hired now these days, and we need more people of color cutting our hair. You could tell
It's a difference.
some of the shows in the past, I'm sure if you've seen Roots back in the day, it's a great film, but like the wigs weren't great. The makeup wasn't great. We need more Black people with makeup. So it's just it's meeting halfway of doing your research, but also hopefully institutions and theaters and studios will reach out to those areas to let them know that, hey, there's a lot of jobs available for everyone in this industry. It's not just about acting, acting great in performance, but so many other great things that require other talents. So,
well, they don't need to just buy a bus ticket and go straight to LA is what you're saying. They can start in their local community.
no, start in your local community
Yeah.
first. Start to develop community in closest to you and get involved and try different things, because I think it'll be more flexible while you're in your local areas and to grow your craft and to have a family first before jumping into New York or LA or Chicago. So yeah, that would be my suggestion.
And when you start out, Jared, do they ask what kind of experience you have when you apply for different jobs, even though you may be just starting out? Do they still ask about experience?
A bit of experience, yes, but that's part of them reaching out. Is like that's the thing, is they don't have experience, but they have the desire and the will and the passion for it. It's like, I don't have experience, but I have a desire to be a stage manager. And even though I don't have an experience, hopefully they'll be like, that's okay. We're gonna give you an internship and we'll put you on the Hamilton Phillip tour to maybe, see around how things are done as a stage manager off stage, and see the backstage, see how things are moved with the crew and everything. So it doesn't matter if you haven't sung a song or you haven't, done a pirouette. Just get involved somehow and crave that knowledge, absorb it.
Cool. Well, I want to take us back. I know your credits include Hamilton. And
Yes.
that's one of my favorites. I mean, it's awesome. So let's talk about Hamilton. I know that you you had a lot of parts that you covered. So how did you cover those roles? And did you ever get any lines mixed up or something funny that may have happened on stage? But first, how did you manage all those different parts? I know you played Lafayette, Jefferson, King George III, right?
Oh, yes. Before this contract, I don't think I ever covered roles before or, swung more than one. So this was truly a different experience.
Wow.
Never had done this kind of thing before, and at the level that the show requires. So of course you had the nerves of knowing that this show won 11 Tonys, and the creatives who are part of it, of course, Lynn and all of them are a part of it, and what the show means and who's on stage. So yeah, I was nervous and everything, but long story short was when I got the offer and moved from New York to Chicago, it was, they teach you the music first. So you're in, with team music, with the music director, and you just go through the whole show and you just, do that process of learning each character. But you do it one by one, but you do music, then they take you over to team movement, team dance, and they, get it on your feet. And then you kind of marry that, music and dance movement. And then once they feel like you're you're ready with that, then you go to team acting and you go through like intention and, what's your motivation and who's your scene partner and all that. And then you're marrying all three of the words, the music, the movement, and the acting. And then when you're done with that, then they'll start bringing in some other people to help with other bodies around you so you can rehearse, because then you got to get on the stage and do the turntable and all this stuff is moving and everything. And then you do that for all, and I covered 6 tracks. So that's the process of each track that I had to do. And it took me about 6 months to learn all of them. And yes, of course, I have messed up the lines. Everyone messes up lines, though, I'm not gonna lie. And that's the beauty of live theater. But yes, I have definitely messed up lines before.
And do you laugh or do you just keep going? Whatever it costs for you.
You keep going. The show must go on. I mean, but also, like, I hate to use the word nonstop because it's in the show, but the show truly is nonstop. It's just, it keeps going. There's no room to like you mess up a line, you got to keep going because there's like so much more material to cover
Mhm.
in the show. And to be honest, the majority of the audience will forget about it like 15 minutes later because there's just
Yeah.
another amazing number to watch. So
Yeah.
And most of them don't even know that you messed up.
they don't, yeah,
Yes.
exactly.
And if you don't tell them, they won't know.
Now I won't speak. Now the Gen Zers and the millennials, they know every word. So
Yeah.
Yes, because when they
Yeah.
put it on Disney during the pandemic, that's when, I mean, they learned all the words.
yes, absolutely.
It's crickets. What happened?
No, she's on mute.
Oh,
There she is.
okay.
Sorry. Can you go more into detail about the different Hamilton companies?
Yeah, this show is crazy. Epic, all of those things. Like, and it's not like this was the first, you know, you got Lion King, the Book of Mormon was really big. Like
Mhm.
when those two shows, I mean, Lion King still hasn't lowered their prices. They're doing fine.
Yeah.
But what sets this show aside from the Book of Mormon, Lion King, even Wicked, is just, it's like Star Wars level like money and just influence that this show has now. But the show opened on Broadway in 2015. It did so well. And then they launched the first national tour in Chicago. But then the Chicago, and they started in Chicago, but it did so well that they ended up sitting that tour in Chicago for about 4 years. And then
Wow.
they popped up another tour. And then another tour popped up. And then a tour popped up in the West End. And then another one. So it's just doing so well that like there's no other show that has done this. But I want to clear up that because I know my mom's friends are like, well, is he coming to San Antonio? Is he coming here? It's like, no, I mean, there's like 6 companies. I don't know how to explain it to them, but yes, Hamilton has done so well that they have, well, Los Angeles has recently closed due to Omicron, but we have Broadway, we have 3 different tours in North America, the West End, Australia, and then they're working on Germany. But right now there's about 6 different Hamilton tours. So make sure you look up which is the right one that you want to go to or which is nearest you, but that's just
When
kind of
it
breaking
came
it down.
when it came to San Antonio, I just knew you were going to be in it. And then your mom was like, no, he's not going to be in this one.
Yeah, I know. There's so
know.
many different companies to keep track of these days, and so yeah. But I wanted to clear up, and I'll make sure everyone knows which one I'm in because my journey with it isn't necessarily over yet. We'll see what happens in the future. I'll keep you posted, but
Okay.
I'll always let mom know which company I'm in.
Okay.
Awesome. Well, speaking of Hamilton, they did come to San Antonio and we did go and see it together.
Yes,
Me
we
and
did.
Benita.
Okay, great. Lots of friends in that tour. I'm glad you guys had a great time.
Oh my God, it was fantastic.
It
But
was
I have
awesome.
not been able to get into the Broadway one in New York. They're always sold out. So Jared, do you got a hookup where you can get me some tickets?
Listen, I'll put you on the list. How about that? Put you on the list.
But I will take that. And to our listeners, we're going to take a break here at the island and welcoming and thanking Jared Howelton for being with us. But we'll be right back shortly. And we are back at the island with our special guest, Mr. Howelton here. I know Mr. Howelton is your dad, so I won't call you that. With
Yeah.
Jared Howelton. One quick question for you, Jared. I know you guys as artists, during the pandemic, you guys took a heavy hit. How was that impact to the industry and how was it specifically, how did it affect you?
Well, I won't be sensitive because the pandemic happened to everyone on Earth. So, but yes, it hit our industry really hard. I mean, a full stop. We're artists, so we connect with people. That's our job. We minister to people. I feel like artists, our job is to be the healers of the world. We're supposed to heal. We're supposed to tell the truth. That's our job as well, is telling the truth. about life and the social situation, as Stellar Adler would say. And to have that taken from us completely, like you can't, I mean, whether you're on stage, you're dealing with people. I'm off stage getting undressed and undressed by people. I'm getting my mic put on by people. If you're on set, you got to be closer than usual when you're on set, when you're film acting. So you're always dealing with people, no matter what you're doing in the artist world. So the pandemic completely stopped that. And what happened, and on top of the pandemic, everything that happened in 2020, that was for us to not be able to express ourselves and stuff like that. It was depressing. That's the word I'll use. It was depressing. I think 2020 was about me. It was a lot of great things and it was a mixture of things. It was a moment to slow down. I think God was telling me to slow down because ever since I graduated from, I guess I should have said Otterbein. Yeah, Otterbein University is what I attended.
Okay.
But when I left Otterbein to New York, like it's just crazy what the pandemic did for all of us, of just taking all of those things away, of just like all shows were shut down, all projects, in LA were cut off. So 2020 was a reflection of, sorry, I'm getting back to what I'm saying, going in circles, but leaving, ever since I left school, it was nonstop. And I rarely saw the family. It was maybe Christmas, and then I had to leave like on Christmas night. So the pandemic was a way to slow down, count my blessings, be grateful, thank God for what I have done, what he's done for me. But there was also a time for me to like think about my life and be like, is this industry for me? What is it all about? 2020 had me asking a lot of questions, especially with the Black Lives Matter movement and what our industry is doing for Black, Indigenous, and people of color. Like, what are, this new change. So anyway, it affected me, of course, and it affected a lot of my friends, but it's an adjustment when we got back to shows as well. It was a huge adjustment. You're seeing an audience of 2,700 with people in masks. You're getting tested every day, so it's just a different world. But yeah.
How was it like coming back from the pandemic and finally can have a live audience?
It was surreal.
Wow. Because it happened like 2 years, right?
Yeah, 2 years. Like, you're just in your head because you're not doing your craft at all. Like, you might work out, you might do something, you might dance in your garage at your parents' house, or do something to keep you motivated. But I'll be honest, like the small things I would do to make me feel creative just wasn't enough, because on top of the pandemic, it was just such a depressing America that we were watching every day. And I just had no motivation to do art. So, but that's why I had my family, and I was so happy to be with them. And in a way, that was my therapy, and a blessing was just being with family and realizing the important things. And then when I did come back to an audience, I was so grateful, and it was a party again, of being able to come back to the theater, seeing faces, hugging again, connecting with people on stage. I mean, of course, the show it was a different show coming back, because the words just meant different. Rise up, who lives, who dies, who tells your story. Tomorrow there'll be more of us. It was just, it was emotional.
So did you guys, that's what I was gonna ask, did y'all like cry? Because I know I haven't seen my coworkers in about 2 years now, because I work from San Antonio and they live in Buffalo, and we still have not all come together from around the country. We hopefully will get to do it this year. But I said next time I see them, I'm just gonna give them a hug and just cry, because I just have not seen them, in person in over 2 years. So was it emotional for you all when you came back together?
Absolutely. It was, I mean, I don't think we rehearsed the first couple of days, because we were just it was more of just like a meet and greet kind of, just like, it was, I don't even think we rehearsed that day one or something like that. We were just so connected and just so emotional and just so happy to be back and to be able to give joy, do our job, which is to give joy to people.
But that
every
was good.
night.
I'm gonna put my counseling hat on, but that was good that you guys had that time to reflect before you just jumped into your craft, and it was a safe space because it was a group of you all that had been artists or still are artists, and had that been stripped away from you, and then you had that moment in time to reflect. So whoever said, no practice today, no rehearsal today, that was an awesome thing for you guys to do, to be able to reflect and understand and process what just happened.
And I applaud when I came back to Hamilton, I applaud them for that because after all we've been through, you just can't jump back into work, no matter what industry you are. If you're a lawyer, a doctor, a teacher, you're just not going to return to work and have this atmosphere be what it was. We got to come back afresh and renewed with some new perspectives and a sense of community and being on one accord. And so I was happy. Yeah, I just don't see how you can come out of a pandemic and just be like, all right, rehearsal, let's start singing, start dancing. Like,
You can't act
You
like it
can,
didn't
but it
happen.
might not work. Yeah.
yeah, let's
Yeah.
ease
Well,
into that.
tell me this. When you got before the live audience, you said how you all felt so happy, but what did you feel or see from the audience in return? After, they came out of the pandemic too. And so did you get any difference or feeling from them? Because I know you guys were happy to perform.
Yeah, I was excited. Yeah, absolutely happy. Just because we, actors and the audience enter from different parts of the theater and you just never interact with them till after the show. So I couldn't speak too much about what they feel. What I can say is like, I did the show in LA, which is like super left, and like everyone wears their masks and everyone's vaccinated. I can't speak to tours because some of the tours are touring areas where that's just not masks, vaccines. That's kind of a touchy subject. But yeah, it's an adjustment for the audience. You have to wear your mask for 2 hours and 45 minutes of that show. You have to show your vaccination at the theater. So it's an adjustment for them to just sit there with a mask, and the show is long, y'all. Like, I love the show, but it's long.
It is.
And to sit there in the dark with your mask on, it's a big ask, but it's all in for the safety of everyone, the safety of the actors and the crew. But yeah, it was a huge adjustment for them. I will definitely say that. And for the most part, everyone just pretty much went with it. And then of course there's some that just did not like it. So
yeah. So let me interject a quick question going back to 2020 and your family. I know that you were home during 2020 and your mom said there was nothing but laughs and jokes and a lot of fun with you and your brother hanging out. How was that experience for you? I know you said you got to hang out with your family, not just for Christmas Day or something like that. So
yeah, I mean, when you're an artist, you got to remember to live your life, because you can't be an artist if you haven't lived life. You gotta pull from something when you're an artist, and so, I have to spend time with my family if I'm going to be a better artist, if I'm going to be a better actor and everything. And just sometimes it's okay to not do what you do best for a moment. It's just like, let me take a break. Let me hang up my actor hat here and let me be Jared and be with my family. And yes, she was absolutely right. Lots of laughs, lots of reconnecting. I don't think we hadn't sat at the dinner table consistently every day like that since Zach and I left for college. So to be grown men and speak to our parents in a different way and have these discussions and have those laughs, it was so great. It was literally therapy for me, and it gave me motivation when I came back to LA to continue to do what I do, and I love what I do. I mean, it was in question over 2020, but thanks to my family, time in San Antonio, I figured it out. So.
All right.
That is
Well,
awesome.
in addition to enjoying your family and getting that time to kind of join in with them and have fun, what did you do on the side to stay in shape and maintain your craft?
It was kind of hard because mom was cooking every day. I'm not
So
gonna
much
lie
for
to y'all.
staying in shape.
I'm not gonna lie to y'all. I'll be like, oh, I was doing CrossFit every morning at 6. No, I was eating mom's food every day. But I did do. There were like a few auditions that at the time I had my agent at the time was submitted me for very few. But I would go over material. I would read Shakespeare. I'd watch a lot of Shakespeare movies. I'm a bit of a nerd, but I watch a lot of film. I watch a lot of like old films and a lot of contemporary TV shows. I really love TV shows. I like watching different actors and stuff like that. And then yeah, I would work out every day on the porch and do like a home workout and then run in the morning. But yeah, I would do small little things every day. And then sometimes I would forget, I would just be honest with myself and say, Jared, I don't want to do anything that has to do with art today. I just want to sit and watch TV. And that's okay too.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
So, yeah,
Thank you.
of course.
So on that note, we're going to take a quick break and we'll be right back with Mr. Jared.
All right.
Yay!
Hey.
And we are back at the island with Jared. And Jared, thank you so much for all the information, dishing the tea on artists and how it works. I do have this big question that I put together here for you. I know during the pandemic, during 2020, there was a lot of uprising after George Floyd was murdered. And they had the Black Lives Movement. And I know you all in the artist industry, you all met on Zoom and had conversations with your leaders. And I heard from a reliable source that you were very instrumental in saying, hey, we got to speak out. We have all these people that are protesting in the street. How can we as artists on the Hamilton show, not show, but on the Hamilton crew, speak out? And I heard that your organization, they put together an awesome video, and it came out, and it's funny because my millennial nieces, nephews, sons, and daughters were sending me the video clip on my phone to say, check this out. So I want to know, how were you instrumental in helping them to make that video and helping them to move that initiative forward, speaking out?
Okay, cool. Yeah, I'm gonna clarify some things. I wasn't instrumental within the Hamilton world. I think that was a huge group of people collectively. So I'll say the Hamilton part first. So yeah, after George Floyd's death and his murder, yeah, horrible. But what was worse was at the time, Hamilton was silent for about 4 days, and that didn't sit well with the majority of the companies, I should say. And so everyone was sending their emails, their text messages to the creatives and management and stuff like that, because it's just saying, how can you make this show? How can the show have the lyrics that they have? You're using hip hop, R&B, jazz, reggae. I'm listing all of the Black things that Black Americans have created. And you're casting Black people, Black and brown people, and yet you're not saying anything. And then it expanded into more of the Broadway community of holding Broadway accountable, because the white supremacy and racism that is in the industry is still there, and we need to talk about it. And that's what we did over the summer. Was we talked. There was a lot of talking, a lot of Zooms, a lot of platforms, a lot of discussions. Yes, I was in those discussions, but I think, let me clarify, I was a little bit more instrumental with my own university, with Otterbein. That was what I led, which was different. Well, not different, but the same, where I held a forum for alumni that were Black and brown with Otterbein, and myself and a friend of mine that was actually in the LA company with me, named Morgan Wood. She and I held a platform for our school. We went to Otterbein together, and we just wanted to hold a platform with our teachers, saying and just sharing with them our experiences as Black students at your school, how we feel about the silence from our school when you because a lot of the people that have been working at a high level out of my school are Black people. on Broadway, on TV, on movies. Like, it's all Black people, and yet you were promoting us and not saying anything about us being killed in the streets every week. So we held them accountable in those Zoom rooms. And that was only because I used kind of what we did with everyone did with Broadway and Hamilton as kind of a foundation. So that's what I was instrumental in, if you was with my school. But with Hamilton, yeah, I was very well involved with a lot of the discussions and stuff like that. And yes, are they perfect? No, but what company listens, hears, sits through discomfort, and does their best to fix it, does their best to maneuver, and they get it wrong, and we let them know that they get it wrong, and then sometimes they'll get it right, and we keep moving. But the best thing is that they did listen, they hear, and they created an open space for us to be heard, which is unheard of for companies and stuff like that. Companies don't have to do this.
Right.
It just been, Walmart just be like, get to work. We don't care about how you feel. Like, get to work. So it was important because it was just like, we can't move on continuing with this show, what it represents, what it says, who you hire, and then not say anything about George Floyd or Breonna Taylor. So 2020 was a year of, even though we weren't performing, we were dealing with a lot of things and issues that were way more important than performing at this time, which is just making sure that BIPOC, Black, Indigenous, people of color are heard and feel safe in the workplaces and are represented on stage, on behind the camera, in the crew, producing, in the studios, everywhere. So it was just it was a year of accountability and a year of listening. And yeah, I mean, these institutions aren't perfect, but I'm happy that the ones that I have dealt with were able to listen and hear and deal with being uncomfortable for a minute. It's uncomfortable. It's uncomfortable for everybody. It was an uncomfortable year.
I applaud you.
I'm so grateful that we were heard, and that moving forward, there is a platform to be heard and to have a safe space to speak up.
I applaud you and Morgan for going back to your university and holding, them accountable for that. And also applaud everybody that was on helping Hamilton and Lynn and his company to put that video out, from the actors from Hamilton, because it really reached the young people. And when I say millennials, these young people, I'm talking about my son and my daughter, they're like in their 20s. They were 23 and 24 at the time, and nieces and nephews, same age category. They took the video and they were socializing it on their social media, sending it out to their parents and aunts and uncles. And that to me said that was a powerful message from something and someone they respected. So I applaud you all for encouraging them to speak out.
Yeah, and I think too, just seeing them and being a part of Hamilton for a bit, I think the show is so big, it's so massive, and it has a huge following and a major influence. And I think sometimes we forget how big of it is. Mm-hmm. And whatever Hamilton does, the other shows will follow. So in 2020, it was like, listen, if you lead with this, if you create a safe space, the other Broadway shows will follow. And I mean, that's pretty much exactly what happened. Hamilton set the tone. They owned up to some of the things that they dropped the ball on, and then they continued to keep moving and to make progress. And I applaud them for that, and the continuing of that as well. So yeah, it was a great video, and I'm happy to see that it reached so many people.
Awesome.
Well, I'd like to jump in and squeeze a question in while he's saying that, Cheryl. And my question is, why is it important to continue the push for more opportunities for artists who identify as Black, Indigenous, and people of color? Why is that important?
It is so important.
Okay.
It's just so, we need more. And again, not just faces on a TV screen or movie screen or on stage. Like, yes, please, if you are an actor, if you have a calling for that, or singer or whatever, please do it. But there's also so many other opportunities and so many job opportunities in this industry that need more people of color in the background scenes as well. So, like I said before, with hair and makeup, producing, filmmaking, photography. If you take pictures, you got a camera, beg your parents for, $200 for a camera and invest in that and start shooting. Getting your friends together in a backyard with a nice camera and shoot, whatever, tell a story through your camera. If you're a director, direct whatever that means to you. But it's just so much, and it's so important to have more people of color in other areas. Because I mean, think about it, y'all. When y'all watch the Oscars, how many times have y'all seen an all-Black movie and then the producers that swarm the stage are all white?
Yes,
You know what I mean?
Yes,
It's
you're
like,
so right.
and the
Yeah.
Academy Award goes to Moonlight, and then you see a bunch of white men go up to the stage like, wait a minute, what? So it's important that we have Black directors, Black female directors.
Mhm.
What did Viola Davis said? The only thing that separates women of color from everyone else is opportunity.
I agree.
Wow,
That's a big statement. You're right.
And it's true.
profound.
So it's just, we need more opportunity in every, I mean, not just in acting and as an artist, but in everything. But
Right.
I think the art, the industry that I'm in, I feel like sometimes they're like, oh, we're not racist, we're not these things because we do all the, and that was the big problem, I think, in 2020. It's not necessarily like, I know where white supremacists stand. You know what I mean? Like, I know where KKK people stand. I know where they stand, but it's the ones that don't think that they're racist and they think that they're, an activist when they're not, and they're missing the mark and they refuse to listen. That's when you got to wake those people up. And it's like, just because you're on Broadway, just because you're in Hollywood doesn't mean that you don't have racist tendencies or you're missing the mark. It means that you need to listen even more. And I think that because of 2020 and just the platforms that we've had, I think it shed a lot of light on things that were in the darkness for so long, and now they're being paid attention to now, which is great. So
Awesome. And I know you had stated you spent a lot of time with your family and everything during the pandemic. And I'm gonna jump back to family. Your mom, how is she doing? And I know this is the month of May. What did you do for Mom for Mother's Day?
I sent my mother a really, really, really nice bouquet of flowers and a card. And then we had a long conversation on the phone on Mother's Day. Matter of fact, such a long conversation, she cut me off. She said, okay, I gotta go. I'm like, all right. I get that from Dad. I talk and I'm realizing that I'm more and more like my father. It is crazy, but I start rambling and talking. I'm like, no, I sound like my dad in a sermon right now. But yeah, it was a great Mother's Day. I called Grandma as well, but yeah, she's doing great. She's doing well.
To our listeners, his mom is awesome pediatrician. She was the pediatrician for my children their entire lives. My poor daughter, she was like, Mom, do I have to age out? They wanted to stay with Dr. Howelton even after they got past 18. I was like, no, baby, it's time to go to another physician.
Yeah. That's how I felt about the dentist. I was like, do I have to go to an adult dentist? They play movies here at this dentist. This is a great dentist. Mom's like, no, you're an adult. You're 18 now.
Exactly. So I hear you are addicted to Sour Patch Kids. Why is that? And what is your favorite meal after and before a performance?
I love Sour Patch Kids. I'm obsessed. Sometimes I have to like not look at them or I'll get them. Like, it's very addicting. It's like a drug. I know in 2020 I kept buying them and I would leave the Sour Patch like on the counter. Now my mom would eat some too, I'm not gonna lie, but it's my favorite candy. It's the perfect combination, sweet and sour. Like, right?
So Cheryl, tell them what we were addicted to in 2020.
Oh, what, Netflix?
No, besides
The
that,
candy.
What candy was that?
Oh, what's
Sweet
the
tart.
sour,
So sweet tarts.
the sweet tarts, yeah.
Ooh, sweet tarts is real good. Sweet tarts is addicting too. And
Very.
Skittles.
Very. Matter of fact, we were ordering off Amazon by the case.
Oh my goodness, Benita ordered a whole case for me and had it shipped to my house. My husband was like, "You cannot eat all this candy." I was already gaining pounds, you know, you had your quarantine 15.
Yeah, I'll take long hibernation breaks from Sour Patch because I just can't piss off my dentist again.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
what's your favorite meal before and after a performance?
You know, I don't really eat crazy before a performance. I'll eat a strong breakfast for sure, but I'll try my best to eat something light. My go-to is ramen. I love good ramen. That might be like the best or the heaviest meal I'll eat before a show, but after the show, I'll eat everything. After the show, everybody actually eats everything, but before, not so much.
Gotcha. So dinner with Jared after the show.
Dinner with Jared, dinner and drinks with Jared after the show.
All
Sounds
right.
Got it.
Well, I got a question that I love to ask our guests, and that is, what did you want to be when you grew up? What did you aspire? Were you want to be a firefighter, police officer? You want to be a preacher like your dad? A doctor like your mom?
I mean, when I was little, yeah, I would have mom make me robes, pastor's robe, preacher robes, and everything. She would sew together those robes when I was 3 and 5 and 7, and dad built me a wooden little podium, and I would have my church, and Zach, my little brother Zachary, would be my lead deacon. And we had a congregation of about 50 stuffed animals. We got a good turnout. No one paid their tithes though, so I'm gonna come back. I don't know why that was a thing, but yeah, we had a little church going on back in the day. And Zach would lead devotion. So
you had a different sermon every time, huh?
I had a different sermon every time, and all 50 of those stuffed animals are saved. We made sure that they were baptized, filled with the Holy Ghost. Yeah, I think one of them fell down, one Sunday. So, but besides that, when I was younger, I truly couldn't tell you what I wanted to be when I grew up. It was I was a class clown, and a lot of everyone around me told me what I should be when I grew up. So I was like, okay. They're like, you need to be on TV. You need a talk show. Or you need to do this. I was like, oh, okay. But when I was 5 and 7, I guess it would be to be like dad, be a pastor.
Wow.
What was your first show that you felt like, oh, I'm really in it now? What did you do first?
Y'all, this was my mother. My mother was the one that officially got me into it because, I think my mother always tells this story of when I was in elementary school and I would be in all the little plays and stuff and I would act crazy. I think I was one of the lions in Noah's Ark and I was just being really silly and not, all the parents were just laughing at me. And so my mother would talk to the music teacher and be like, can you give Jared a bigger part, like a lead part? I see some potential. And she never did. And mom's still mad about that. But when I was finishing up middle school, I really had no idea what I was doing for high school. I was like, you know what? I think I'm gonna go to Reagan, try to make varsity football. I don't need to really play. I just want to wear the uniform and go to the party. You know what I mean? I think I'm just gonna cruise through Reagan High School and call it a day. But my mother found a flyer for the Northeast School of the Arts, NISA, Performing Arts High School. And she took me to their open house. And, they all have, they have dance, cinema, creative writing, acting, all of those good, technical theater. instrumental music. And we go through all the different rooms and everything. And then we finally get to the acting room, the musical theater portion. And it was basically like Saturday Night Live. They were doing a bunch of improv games and stuff like that. And from that moment, that night, I was sold. And I have never looked back. But that's all credited to my mother figuring out that school, getting me ready, because I had to audition to get in. So I had to, I never knew what a monologue was. I didn't know what I was doing at all, but it was all mom. And I was like, all right, I'm just going to rehearse this monologue. And I got in, and me getting in and getting that letter was one of the most exciting moments of my life. And yeah, I just didn't look back after that, to be honest. I found my calling.
Well, we're
Thanks to
glad
God.
you didn't. And thank God for moms, huh?
I know. Thank God for moms.
Yeah.
That's an awesome story. Because I was just about to ask, how did your parents feel when you told them what industry you were interested in? But you've explained that your mom she saw it before you saw it.
And then what I'll say about Dad is, I think Dad recently told me this on a phone conversation, was I think it was junior year when I did West Side Story, and that was when he knew. He was like, "Wow, yeah." So, yeah, thanks to the parents.
All right.
That's awesome. Well, once again, I'd like to say that we have enjoyed our time with you today. We so appreciate you as an artist and you as a man of God. We thank God for you. Just keep doing what you're doing. Come back to visit us anytime at the island. Be a guest co-host. It doesn't have to be interviewed.
Y'all are fun, y'all. This was so much fun. I'm not gonna lie. When y'all started talking about sports, I was like, wait a minute, what y'all got me excited and everything. So yes, I will absolutely be back.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes. So if there's nothing else, ladies, I'm going to say adios.
Ciao, Bella.
And I'm going to say thank you, Jared. Keep listening.
Bye. Peace.
Bye.
See you later.